Hey, beautiful people. Blessings, shalom. I hope you're doing well and that you are blessed. We're continuing with our series looking at 7 different women in the Bible as we celebrate International Women's Day this week. And today we are looking at the woman with the issue of blood. Now, we do not know her name. We know nothing else about her except for in Luke 8, verse 34 to 38, we hear about her story. And we know that she has been bleeding, she's been hemorrhaging for 12 years, and she has seen every doctor, every physician that there is, and no one has been able to help her. So you can imagine this woman, being desperate, being in want of healing, being without a solution for so long. And what we hear about this woman is that Jesus is on his way to, can't remember whose house, whoever's house, to go heal their son. And while he's on the way, I think it's the centurion's house. While he's on the way to the centurion's house, there are people all around Jesus pushing at him, touching him. There's a crowd swarming around him. And this lady reaches out and she touches the hem of Jesus's garment, saying to herself, if only I could get close enough to him and if I could touch him, then I could be healed. And so she touches him, and indeed she receives healing instantly without Jesus saying anything to her, acknowledging her, seeing her. And Jesus immediately feels that happen, and he stops and he turns around and he says, who touched me? And the disciples are like, hey, yo, dude, I don't know if you noticed, but everyone's touching you right about now. And Jesus goes, no, I felt power leave from me. And so he looks around, and this woman comes forward, and then they have an exchange, and Jesus is like, love the faith, keep being dope, live your best life, right? So the question is the significance around this. So one thing that we see in the significance of this is that if this lady had been bleeding for 12 years, she would have been considered unclean for 12 years, which would have meant that she wasn't allowed to be amongst the people. And by touching Jesus, the assumption would have been that she would have made him unclean, right? And she would have been segregated or, shunned in the community because of her condition. But also being a woman, like she just couldn't run up to a rabbi and like touch them. Like that just wasn't a thing that was done, right? But you see the boldness of her faith to say that I know, I trust, I believe that if I can just get close enough, I can get my healing, I can get my miracle. Jesus doesn't have to see me, he doesn't have to talk to me, he doesn't have to touch me, he doesn't have to say anything. If I can just touch the hem of his garment, then I know I will be healed. So, girl, in what ways do you see yourself in the story of the woman with the issue of blood? Firstly, I think 12 years is a long time to be bleeding, man. Like, that's crazy. Are there challenges that you have faced that have lasted 12 weeks, 12 months, and you're thinking, man, I don't think I can make it through this? And there's somebody else who's gone 12 years through a challenge, right? So what do we learn about the length of time? What do you learn about the length of time in your own life with the different challenges that you might be facing, with a hope or a promise that you've been waiting to come to pass? And you're like, it's been about a minute. And God's like, yeah, well, it hasn't been 12 years, it could still happen, And I think secondly, to what lengths are you willing to push through, to lean in, to receive the thing that you are asking for, right? So we see this woman 12 years and she doesn't give up. So for 12 years straight, she's seeing doctors, she's seeing physicians. And when Jesus shows up, she's not like, ugh, I've tried everything, I don't know what this is going to do. She goes, okay, this could be it for me, And so my question to you is, are there areas in your life where you've grown disheartened, where you have kind of shut Jesus out because you go like, this has been happening for so long, I don't think that God's interested in this anymore? And just to open an invitation to you to resubmit that and to go, hey, Lord, here's this thing, and I kind of lost hope about this. I kind of, I don't have faith on this anymore. I'm a bit doubtful. I don't have the zeal and desire for this thing anymore because I've been waiting for so long. And I just don't feel like you see me. I don't feel like you hear me. I don't think you're going to do anything for me. But if you are, then please restore my faith and give me that willpower to push through the crowd to get to you and to want to touch the hem of your garment and to believe that when I do, I'll receive my healing. So, that's all I have to say. Quick sound bite, but I'd love to hear from you. Please comment below and let me know, what do you take from the story of the woman with the issue of blood, and in your own life, in your own walk, in your own journey, what do you see reflected back at you when you look at her story? And a final comment is to say, we don't even know her name. We don't even know her name, right? And sometimes the deepest moments when we push in, when we press in, when we press through, when we are interceding for other people, when we are praying for miracles, when we receive the miracle, other people might not be there, other people might not see it, but God sees you. He sees you and He hears you, and you are important to Him. So I love the woman with the issue of blood because for me, she indicates resilience. She's a story of being persistent and having perseverance and hoping beyond all hope. And I think that every day is a good day to have hope. And so I hope that you have been blessed by reflecting on her.